Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at my top 5 mid laners right now for solo queue, and again this is based mainly on the impact they can have in a game. We're going to split the number 5 spot between Zed and Talon, and both are very similar. Their job as an AD assassin is to, well, kind of kill people, and they both do that extremely well. The reason I'm putting both here is because at lower elo I think Talon is just unstoppable, and it's quite easy to get his damage off too. Zed can do more in a way. I guess he has a bit more outplay potential with his shadows, but it's just harder to reach his maximum damage output in teamfights. The game itself is pretty perfect for these two right now. Both spike hard mid game, and that's probably the most important phase of League at the moment. So Talon first. With Thunderlords and the new Yumus, he's really strong. Actually, the new Mercurial Scimitar is very good on him too, with the lifesteal and the active, so he did pretty well out of the new item changes. To a single target, just to like burst someone, he will do more damage in a shorter space of time than Zed, and that's really his kind of speciality, I guess. He doesn't have as many dukes or like an exit after his damage, but he really does do a ton of damage and do it really fast. His lane phase is decent anyway, and with Thunderlords it kind of buffs that even more just because your poke's even stronger. I think Talon has actually always been pretty good, but the new items have just helped him become top tier again. Zed is kind of the same in a way, works very well with the new Thunderlords and new items which have helped him become much stronger. The biggest difference between Talon and Zed are the plays you can make with his shadows and his ultimate. Your ultimate can dodge things, you can poke from range with your shadow and lane, and with Thunderlords that poke hurts even more. CDR or cooldown reduction is much easier to build towards now for both of these, and Zed really benefits from that. Again, with both of these you want to aim to dominate your lane and then kind of roam around the map and kill people, and that is what you do best. If you're interested in learning either of these properly in way more depth, then you should definitely check out my friend Azo, who has a YouTube channel all about these assassins, so I'll stick that in the link below. Spazzy is going to be really happy with this one. Vel'Koz is finally making an appearance in these videos. This spot could have actually easily be taken by someone like a Nivea or Brand, but we did look at them last time, and Vel'Koz's poke kind of edges him in here. Now Vel'Koz is great with Frost Queen's claim, especially the active part on it. I mean, he can proc the gold part really easily, and wait, he is a he, right? It's thing maybe? I don't even know, but yeah, the gold is fine. It's just the ghosts are insane at setting up your full combo. One of his problems is that his kit is kind of hard to actually rotate properly and actually land, but with the ghosts slowing them, even Foxtrot with his granny reaction times could hit them. His poke is great, very long range, hard hitting, and pretty hard to dodge too. This is really kind of the biggest reason that I put him in this top 5 this time round. If you play smart enough, you can poke from range and basically never get pressured. Once you have a few items behind you, this poke really starts to hurt, and you can take over a game, forcing the enemy to back off, and well, if they don't, then you can turn and finish them with your ultimate. The last thing I really want to mention is his passive. It's crazy strong and it does so much damage. If after watching this video you go and you try and you play him and you think he does no damage, then chances are it's because you're just poking with your spells and you're not proccing your passive. That thing stings majorly. Now last time we had this guy at number 1, but this time we're putting him a little bit lower. Let's start with the good stuff first. After all, he is still the 3rd best mid laner in my opinion. Now you don't tend to win your lane on Twisted Fate, but you don't need to. That's not why you pick him. You pick him to roam every time your ultimate is up. You'll get yourself and your team ahead, and that's so strong in this style of game at the moment. Item wise, preseason has been pretty good to him too. Rod of Ages has become kind of standard on him now. It helps him survive his lane phase a little more, and also because of his quite high base damage, we can get away with stacking that up instead of rushing damage. It leads to a really strong mid game with your Lich Bane as well, and while yeah, TF is seen kind of as this roamer or utility mid, he can almost one-shot people with 2 or 3 items, so he can definitely carry a game with damage later on. The reason he's lower this time is twofold. So firstly, games are less snowbally than they were before. I mean, they can still kind of snowball and end quickly, but games in general are going longer, and so his ability to roam and get people ahead isn't as important anymore. The second is because other mid laners are moving towards assassins and poke, both of which really suck for Twisted Fate. Assassins will, well, assassinate and kill you, and poke will mean that you can't really get in range to card them without losing all of your health. Both of them are going to make you cry, both of them make your lane phase really difficult, and it makes it hard to survive and not die. So after doing these mid videos for a while, I kind of secretly hope Ahri gets nerfed so I can just stop talking about her, but at the same time I don't, because I just love playing her. She is the best all around mid laner by far. Good damage, wave clear, mobility, roaming, she can win lane, be aggressive, and still do crazy well mid and late game. I just don't really think there is a downside to picking Ahri. Like, I cannot find one. That is how solid of a pick she is, and a win rate kind of reflects that honestly. Ahri's strengths start in the lane phase. You can pressure people incredibly well while still still pushing the lane, and that's kind of the important thing. Make sure you aren't being pushed in early because that's really bad for you. At level 6 you have a ton of kill potential on the enemy laner, but if you can't manage to kill them if they're just playing too safe, then you push and roam with that ultimate instead. You can basically close the gap from a whole screen away, so even if it's warded, it honestly doesn't really matter that much. You can still close the gap and catch them anyway. This is really how I think Ahri should be played, kind of like an assassin. If you go a high damage build, then you can literally 100 to 0 someone if you catch them alone, but even in team fights you have pretty low cooldowns and can pump out a lot of persistent damage. Ahri's main strength right now, like if I had to pick one reason, is because of how low risk she is. If you get caught, then you can ult away. It makes playing lane phase really easy, and even the late game too. If you manage to snowball the game, then great. If not, it doesn't matter because you're still amazing late game in team fights anyway. Now the number 1 spot this time is a new entry and is going to be Lux. Now I love Lux. If you didn't know, the first time I got Diamond 1 ever, however many years ago it was by spamming Lux and Graves. Lux has a perfect kit for winning a game of solo queue, honestly. She has a crap ton of damage, she has a snare to catch people, she has her E and ultimate to do damage from far away, and she even has a shield to keep her team alive. That shield as well is very, very underrated. If you lay that across your whole team, remember it shields them on the way out and on the way back, and it does actually cover a huge amount of damage. Now her lane phase is pretty decent actually. She has good wave clear, good trading with a passive, and it's very hard to gank her because she can just snare and run away. Once you hit level 6, you can start to take it to another level. You might not be able to one-shot people yet, but you can definitely take off 70% of their health with a snare, E, and ultimate combo, which gives you complete lane control. So that's your lane phase. Farm, push the wave, and then try to throw out snares and eventually catch the enemy laner. Moving into mid game, wards are your best friend. You can one-shot people over walls or from pretty far away, and that's really scary to deal with. Even from behind, Lux can actually do this. This is why she's so good at carrying her team. It doesn't matter if your team is struggling, if the enemy team is trying to push, then all it takes is one catch in your snare ultimate combo and suddenly they can't do anything. I honestly think Lux is a great pick, and the poke playstyle is perfect for carrying solo queue and even making a comeback in the game. Honorable mentions this time will go to Brandon and Nivea just because they are still insanely strong and could have easily been on this list instead of someone like Vel'Koz. If you want to play either of these two, then I recommend you go and watch the last top 5 video that I did. You can either click on the screen or the link will be down below because it had detailed parts on them. In short, I guess the reason they're not on this list this time is because of the other picks on this list and how well they do against them. Brandon and Nivea aren't great at roaming, but they have a ton of damage, and that is why you pick them. Dominate your lane and carry with damage. Anyway, that wraps up another top 5 video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love reading comments on this kind of videos. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video.